Reading part 4 of Dewdrops on a Lotus Leaf, part 4 from Ryokan. Ryokan. Interesting where this name comes from. Here's a quote from the Japanese version. Teachings of Buddha says the moon appears everywhere over a crowded city, a sleepy village, a mountain, a river. It is seen in the depths of a pond, in a jug of water, in a drop of dew hanging on a leaf. And then it's, if a man walks hundreds of miles, the moon goes with him. To men, the moon seems to change, but the moon does not change. Buddha is like the moon in following the people of this world in all their changing circumstances, manifesting various appearances, but in his essence he does not change. Reading from the teachings of Buddha, and it's actually the Mahaparinirvana Sutra. And this book on Ryokan is called The Dewdrops on a Lotus Leaf. I'm continuing with the poetry. He says, part 4, my daily fare, playing with the village children. I've always got a few cloth balls tucked in my sleeves. He keeps some toys available for the children. Not good for much else. I do know how to enjoy the tranquility of spring. This cloth ball in my sleeve is more valuable than 1,000 pieces of gold. Now, what? I don't have any pillow. This cloth ball in my sleeve is more valuable than 1,000 pieces of gold. I'm quite skillful at ball playing, you know. If someone wants to learn my secret, here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
David, you don't know where is my pillow? Look where you threw it. That would be a good video.
Okay, really. Here, he's likes to play volleyball now.
Like you.
He likes to play volleyball with the kids. He says, my daily fare. Playing with the village children, I've always got a few cloth balls tucked in my sleeves. Not good for much else, but I do know how to enjoy the tranquility of spring. This cloth ball in my sleeve is more valuable than 1,000 pieces of gold. I'm quite skillful at ball playing, you know. If someone wants to learn my secret, here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it? What's he doing with his ball? He's also a calligrapher, and he can write and play ball, apparently. He's a writer who plays ball. We'll continue with the Dewdrops on a Lotus Leaf. Ryokan is a Zen sort of poet, Japan. What is this life of mine? Rambling on, I entrust myself to fate. Sometimes laughter, sometimes tears. Neither a layman nor a monk. An early spring rain drizzles on and on. But the plum blossoms have yet to brighten things up. All morning I sit by the hearth, no one to talk to. I search for my copybook and then brush a few poems. He brushes the poems. Very nice. He's not. He brushes because he's like a painter, and he. Well, I don't know if he painted and wrote or wrote them. Who knows? We'd have to look it up. Our specialty is not knowing about what we read. So these are new discovered poems, and we try to minimize our expertise on the poet until we've read it. Dewdrops on a lotus leaf. What is this life of mine? Rambling on, I entrust myself to fate. Sometimes laughter, sometimes tears. Neither a layman nor a monk. You know, he's not a formal monk in the monastery, and he's not a total layman either. He did study Soto Zen, but then this guy reformed Soto Zen, and he's trying to reform it, and they say that he didn't quite get along with these reformers and went into the hermit life. And an early spring rain drizzles on and on, but the plum blossoms have yet to brighten up. All morning I sit by the hearth, no one to talk to. I search for my copybook and then brush a few poems. Here he says, a visit to Mr. Fuji's villa. Now he says, it's several miles outside the town, and I walk there together with a woodsman along a meandering footpath through rows of verdant pines. In the valley around us, sweet-smelling wild plum blossoms. Every time I visit, I gain something new, and there I feel truly at ease. The fish in his pond are big as dragons, and the surrounding forest is still the day long. It's still the day long. The inside of his home is full of treasures, volumes of books scattered about. Inspired, I loosen my robe, browse through the books, and then compose my own verse. At twilight, I walk along the eastern corridor, where I am greeted again by a little flock of spring birds. That's a very sweet poem, don't you think? I was thinking I looked up Ryokan, and they had these, it came up, this website, they had these little huts, they're in the woods, and they're supposed to call them Ryokan huts, and they're in the state of Washington by Olympia. If you recall, there's quite a few Japanese type things happened on the West Coast because of the Japanese coming, and it's nearness Japan, so it's almost like Olympia is got the qualities, being a rainforest, sort of like Japan in a way. I've been to Salt Ducks Hot Springs in Olympia National Park.
Olympia, it's a Greek name.
No, the park in on the Pacific Coast, Olympia. And there's even this town where the rain passes over, it's a mysterious town, where there's pockets between mountains where the rain misses. Of course, it rains all the time or something. But anyways, we will continue. I'm going to read this again. A visit to Mr. Fuji's villa. It's several miles outside the town, and I walk there together with a woodsman along a meandering footpath through rows of verdant pines. In the valley around is sweet-smelling wild plum blossoms. Every time I visit, I gain something new. And there I feel truly at ease. The fish in his pond are big as dragons. The surrounding forest is still the day long. The inside of his home is full of treasures, volumes of books scattered about. Inspired, I loosen my robe, browse through the books, and then compose my own verse. At twilight, I walk along the eastern corridor where I'm greeted again by a little flock of spring birds. Now he says, summer evening. The night advances towards dawn. Dew drops from a bamboo onto my brushwood gate. My neighbor to the west has stopped pounding his mortar. My little hermit's garden grows moist. Frogs croak near and far, fireflies flit high and low. Wide awake, it's not possible to sleep tonight. I smooth my pillow and let my thoughts drift. That's it. That's his summer evening.
Finally, somebody's letting his thoughts be there. Drift.
Drift.
He doesn't
He lets
try
him
to
drift.
stop them necessarily.
He's not mindful. He's just letting him run. Well, maybe he lets him drift. He doesn't always. If he's a Zen Buddhist, maybe he tried to not let him drift.
Without being attached necessarily to the thought. Just let them drift. Like the rain falls.
You want to read it again? Or you're drifting with it? We continue, visiting Cloud Peak with Priest Tengi in fall. Okay, he's visiting human existence in this world. Duckweed cast adrift on the water. Who can ever feel secure? That is the reason I took up a monk's staff, left my parents, and bade farewell to my friends. A single patched robe and one bowl has sustained me all these years. I'm fond of this little hut. I often spend time here. We are two kindred spirits, never worrying about who is guest or host. The wind blows through lofty pines, frost chills the few mums that remain. Arm in arm we stand above the clouds. Pound as one, roaming in the far beyond. Who's he standing with? He says he's two kindred spirits. Huh? Who's he with? Buddha? Human existence in this world, duckweed cast adrift on the water. Who can ever feel secure? That is the reason I took up a monk's staff, left my parents, bade farewell to my friends. A single patched robe and one bowl has sustained me all these years. I'm fond of this little hut. Maybe it's the little hut, and often spent time here. We are two kindred spirits. Who is him in the hut?
That's the poem?
Never worrying about who is guest or host. The wind blows through lofty pines. Frost chills the few mums that remain. Arm in arm we stand above the clouds, bound as one, roaming in the far beyond. A nice poem.
Read it again.
I'm out of time. I try. Visiting Cloud Peak with Priest Tengi in fall. Oh, he's with Priest Tengi. How dumb can we be?
Can you read the end of the poem again?
Arm in arm we stand above the clouds and often spend time here. We are two kindred spirits, never worrying about who is guest or host. The wind blows through lofty pines. Frost chills the few mums that remain, and arm in arm we stand above the clouds, bound as one, roaming in the far beyond. He's visiting Cloud Peak with Priest Tengi in fall. So now we know who he's kindred spirit with. Had to read the title. Reading from Ryokan's Dewdrops on a Lotus Leaf.